Our next presenter will be Prabakar Shrestha. Dr. Shrestha is NJIT's inaugural Sustainability Coordinator and Officer. He is currently leading NJIT's Sustainability Subcommittee, which is tasked to produce NJIT's first climate action plan. Having spent 16 years in Nebraska, Dr. Shrestha finds New Jersey quite progressive in sustainability and climate action. Dr. Shrestha plays pickleball and runs around after his 3-year-old son when he's not here working with us.
Okay, good morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Prabakar Shrestha. So what you'll see today, welcome to NJIT, and it's fabulous to have so many of you here. I see some of my NJHAPS friends here, so kudos to all of you. I went on some of the tables, and I know there's quite representation from some of the universities, so welcome all of you. What you'll see in my presentation today is we have this, a lot of our institutes of higher ed in New Jersey are looking up and trying to do our best to be carbon neutral, do all we can to be sustainable. But what are the challenges that we're facing? What are the progress that we're making? I might go a little, because I'm just a data nerd, so I might share with you some of the stuff that we do internally to make sure our sustainability initiatives are on par with what our, what we really want to be. So here is my presentation for today. And what are we doing in terms of energy efficiency with help from PSNG and other state help right now, okay? So for some of you who don't know NJIT, we are a Polytech University right at Newark. We are a major public university. We are an R1 status Carnegie institutions. We are a 48-acre campus here right in the city. We have 11,000, close to 12,000 students, graduate and undergraduate students, 19 academic departments, and total employees 1,500, close to 1,500. We have a retention rate of close to 90%, and this just came up a few years. Just wanted to mention, just that Wall Street Journal ranked NJIT as one of the second best public university. University of Florida was ranked #1. So. It begs the question, what is NJIT doing for sustainability? And that's what I'll try to answer a little bit. What are our goals? We want to be carbon neutral by 2040. I put 2039 just because when I saw Rutgers' plan, it says 2040. So I said, maybe we need to beat them by one more year. So that's the only reason why we have tentative there, but we know for sure we can, somewhere between those two. Times Higher Ed impact rankings. I don't know if some of you know about this or not, but we are ranked top 100 globally in terms of our sustainability research and education. We want to be one of the premier institutions in the nation for this kind of work. And Princeton Review comes up with this every year, but it only ranks top 50. We were ranked 3 years in a row. So is other campuses here in New Jersey, but we want to be in the top 50 in the nation. And we're continuously working to develop an ethos around sustainability, and there's a lot of work to be done. Our recent advancements, sustainability and diversity is a core mission of our university. And what that means is we are making progress in every direction. So as I mentioned earlier, we are ranked globally in the Times Higher Ed impact rankings. Our president has publicly declared that we will be carbon neutral, and now we're working to make sure that we have some targets, we have some pathways that lead us to be carbon neutral. We have published our carbon inventory for everyone to see. It's public. It has all 3 emissions, Scope 1, Scope 2, and Scope 3. I'll talk about that a little bit in a while here. Also, we have a subcommittee. We need to have this dialogue internally. We have faculty, staff, and students that continuously think about this problem, and we use their expertise to help us chart pathways for our sustainability endeavors on our campus. We've earned a STAR Silver rating. I'll talk about that here in a second, what that means. And we do publish. We are one of the few universities that publish our Sustainable Development Goals. And right now, the goal is to finish our climate action plan, the first draft, by spring of 2024. So some of you who don't know what STARS is, this is the only metrics that exists that compares or at least give us a pathway on how we are going to progress every year. It is not an inter-campus competition. It's more about how do I do better from where I am today as a campus. It is used globally. More than close to 1,200 universities all over the planet use this metrics to assess their sustainability progress over time. I mentioned Princeton Review. They take data directly from STARS to come up with their ranking. So you want to improve your STARS score every year. The 4 pillars of sustainability in higher ed is your academics, your engagement, how you're engaging your community, your operations and planning. And then the goal is to focus on policy and guidelines rather than ad hoc action items. So I want to mention that we are at silver right now. The goal is to be gold. The only gold here is Princeton. And Stevens has their data expired, but we definitely want to be as close to Princeton as possible, as for a few years. Some of the areas of opportunities that where we are growing right now on the academic side, some of our faculty, we are developing a workshop to help them learn about some of this climate change and sustainability endeavors. I may be a faculty that went to grad school in 80s. Climate change was nothing that was taught to me in my grad school. So I need some help. So that is the kind of work that we are trying to put together with NJIT and ASHE and other, our help is there. So we would like to use them to provide training and incentives to develop some courses. 20% of our employees are engaged in sustainability research. Very close to 10% of total courses that are offered at NJIT are related to sustainability. Right now we're working on peer-to-peer engagement opportunities, establishing some green teams at the residence halls and also for our faculty and staff. And when the students come in, freshmen come into campus, we want to talk about sustainability as much as we can so that they know that this is an ethos here at NJIT. And right now what we are also trying to do is a lot of our students go in the community and do service hours, but those hours are not tracked according to UN SDGs. I've done this in Nebraska, and this is something that we're trying to do also, so that at the end of the year you can see how many hours you put together as a university to meet all the SDG goals. So we're working on a sustainable design policy for our university. Right now, being a state entity, we abide by some of the rules there, but we want to do better, and that's where some of the work we're working on. We're always constantly looking to get more clean energy and renewable energy on campus. I'll talk a little bit about what we're doing here in a few slides. Our F&B beverage policy needs some transparency. These are all come from STARS, and we need some infusion of local food. And this is an area of opportunity that we are working right now with GDS, which is our partner for food services. And we are also working on the procurement. It's a big deal. We want to have some criteria established for sustainability purchases. We don't have that right now, and we're working with them to make sure that we are more transparent also in that way. So I'll talk a little bit about Climate Action Plan because that sets the stage of what we're trying to do. It is a roadmap that will guide our university to be carbon neutral. It is a part of our carbon agreement that the president signed a few years ago. And again, the carbon neutral date is 2039, 2040. We have 25 faculty, staff, and students that are working on 5 of these working groups to make sure that we have a plan in next few months. This is our overall goal. We have our projections. We are working on a target. And once we have that, we want to create a plan, and then it goes in a circle to make sure that we're monitoring and making progress over time. In all our planning process, we've been looking to our state's policy, and all of whatever the state is trying to do, we're trying to emulate and do better than some of those also. For some of you who do not know anything about greenhouse gas lingos and whatnot, Scope 1, Scope 2, and Scope 3 are how we measure our greenhouse gas emissions, and this is everywhere. Scope 1, when you have a stationary source on campus, for an example, if you have a coal-fired power plant right at the center of campus, that is a non-pollutant source, and that is all the emissions that are related to Scope 1 is measured. Any electricity that we purchase through PSNG, that is our Scope 2, and Scope 3, a lot of us commute, and that is our Scope 3 emissions. So this is our greenhouse gas inventory. We are on a declining trend, but that has to do more because of COVID than anything. So our latest one, I I can predict that it will be closer to 2019 than others. Number 3, FERA is fuel-related activities. We buy gas, we buy electricity, but there's an extraction process. And there's a T&D that happens every time we bring gas to our campus, and so that has to be accounted for also, and that is through Scope 3 emissions. Our overall, if you look at our pie chart, 40% of our emissions is mainly because of commuting. Our students travel one way each day, 17 miles to come to campus. Our faculty travel 24 miles each day one way to come to campus. So that does accumulate and becomes a huge number. So when we're talking about climate action plan, we not only have to talk about how we're going to address some of these, but also do we have the resources necessary to become carbon neutral? And that's where the help and the program like this comes into play for us. Scope 2, definitely as PSG diversifies and we get more wind and solar, they'll go towards zero. And that's why we hope, as the governor's plan with 2035 electrification, we hope. That's why I think it's a very tangible and doable goal to be carbon neutral by 2040, bar commuting. And Scope 1 is our stationary. We do have a lot of natural gas that we use to boil and chill our plants and buildings. We don't have plants, buildings. So as we become more energy efficient and we're looking towards electrification, we need to consider all of that also. So right now, through PSNG's help, we're doing a couple of things. First of all, our WAC Center, which is the Wellness and Event Center, one of the largest buildings on campus, we put some solar panels in there, which will be in existence here. In operation here in a month or two. 50% energy of that building is coming through those electrification, renewable source. It's not big, but it's big for NJIT. It will be the largest one that we have. Our energy efficiency project are also led by some LED lighting. All of the buildings on campus are going to be LED here pretty soon, in probably a month or two, or very close to that. And PSG were great partners in that. And we have a direct install program for any building that are less than 200 kilowatt. We've already made some changes to our boilers and chillers. The total project cost was $2 million. It's not much, but it's still a big deal for our campus as we're trying to be energy efficient. And for any buildings that are more than 200 kW, we're going through a design process right now, and we'll have that here in a year. So we're very thankful for all the help that we can get through PSG and others, but we look forward to doing more. In summary, we are, as an institution, committed to this cause. We have an obligation to meet, and we're carefully considering that. Our carbon neutrality path has started, and we look forward to working with each one of you, local, state, and federal partners, for guidance and cooperation. Money is not the only thing that we need. We also need to have a strategic plan. What is our strategic plan as a state? Where do higher education come into play? What is our role? We are in this thing together. We can do this. If not, where is the hope going to come from? Our students come to our campus every day with some kind of hope, so we need to give that hope to all of us. Thank you.